Welcome everyone to the webinar today, where we're positioning ourselves for the renewable energy sector. We have 30 minutes on the clock, so I'll try not to use it all up, but might run tight. Just a quick intro on myself. I'm Andrew Faulkner. I'm one of the business development managers here at Accounts IQ. I've been with the company a little over 2 years now at this stage. Previously in an implementation role before moving across to sales earlier this year. So I've seen both parts of the customer journey onto the Accounts IQ platform. Just a little bit of background very quickly on Accounts IQ itself as a company. You can see there it was founded back in 2004 by Tony and Gavin. We've always been a cloud product. We've never been in premise. We actually launched into the market in 2008 with a lot of kind of collaboration in those early days with PwC, who are still a key client of the Accounts IQ system. They really robustly tested it in the early days, and they continue to give feedback into the product and its development pipeline as we move forward. We're ideally placed for multi-entity companies, which a lot of renewable energy clients of ours tend to be, tend to have a lot of SPVs on their books as projects progress from initial kind of pre-planning, planning through to construction, onto grid connection, and then just ongoing controls of those businesses as well. AIQ, Accounts IQ, sorry, as we sit in the mid-market. So we're sit above the likes of Sage 50, Xero, QuickBooks. Companies that have outgrown them, they're looking for a bit more functionality, they're looking for better analysis. That's where we would sit. We're not a full-blown ERP at the other end of it. So our costs aren't astronomical. We do everything in-house. We have an in-house integrations team. We have an open API if you want to write or read from the system. We do our own implementations as well. We don't contract that out. So we like to get very close to our clients and kind of have a very much a working relationship with them. It's not a case of us, you signing up to us, we implementing you and then forgetting about you. We do stay in touch with you. We listen to you. And we try to develop the product in ways that will assist our client base as we move forward. In terms of today's call and the renewable energy companies, some of the things we've learned from working and listening to renewable energy companies over the last couple of years have been very much around the kind of headlines you see there on the screen at the moment. Obviously, you're managing assets. So from pre-operation through to construction and post-operation, we have the analysis structure that can allow you to run that, to cost your budgets, to see where you are, report where you are in relation to budgets, almost kind of as a work in progress as you're building out those assets. And you can track them, and you can track them not just at an entity level, but you could, using our consolidation tool, look at that as kind of a global level. So you might have 10 solar farms across Ireland and the UK. You might have offshore wind sitting in the North Atlantic somewhere, or absolutely further afield. Could be down in Australia, South America, Canada. But our system allows you to collate all that data, pull everything back to a base currency. So it doesn't matter if your subsidiaries and SPVs are sitting in different FX currencies. We can retranslate all that back to a base currency. So you get a global view of your organization. There's obviously a lot of, with the whole SPV kind of makeup, there's an awful lot of time consuming processes that need to go on a day-to-day basis. So you have the raising of purchase orders, approving POs and the invoices that come through, making sure your costs are allocated against the correct assets, that your intercompany, you're doing recharging any management costs, any insurance costs, all those sort of recharges that take place in multi-entity companies. We can automate a lot of that for you and really kind of give your finance team back time so that they can really drive value then on the reporting side of it, and allow, with better reporting, obviously becomes better decision making in your organization. Third pillar there is the consolidation piece. We do find that most clients, when they come to us and they're inquiring about our product, are consolidating in Excel. And obviously that's time consuming. It's prone to error. You can get data corruption on formulas, etc., within Excel files. So we have a very, very simple, quick console process that can be done. And when we switch into the in-product demo shortly, I'll show you at a high level how that operates and how it presents the information. And then just, and I've touched upon it already, the analysis coding that we have in our system allows you to very clearly see across your SPVs, your groups of companies, across different countries, different types of renewable energy. If you're a multi-energy company, to drill down, you'd be able to see at a couple of clicks of a button, kind of going, well, what's our costs on pre-planning? Where does that lie in relation to budget? What have been our grid connection costs? What are we paying on maintenance across solar as opposed to wind, etc.? And that's all to do with the structure, the analysis coding that we allow companies to set up in the Accounts IQ platform. So if you look at some of the analysis that some of our current clients are running in the organization, we have what we call dimensions. So you can have up to 6 dimensions set up within the platform, and how you label these is completely up to yourself and the number of elements within it. But you might have, at a high level, you might have a division. So you might be operating in wind and solar. You need a breakdown of that by department. So you could be looking at sales, development costs, operations, finance, etc. You might go sub departments on that. So on the development side, you're looking at pre-planning, construction. You might have operations then, which would be maintenance and monitoring. You could have different geographic locations, so UK, Ireland, Spain, or you might have specific areas or site projects within that you need to analyze on. And what our coding does is it allows you to very quickly select elements of this for reporting. So I can look at my project in Southampton and I can go, well, where are we in relation to pre-planning? What have we spent against what we've budgeted year to date or for a particular period? You can see some other examples here. We can look at profitability by certain projects just by selecting solar and maybe the project in Sligo. We can look at the revenue for a geographic location on the UK. And it's the combination and setup of these codes along with your standard GL structure that really drives the benefits of Accounts IQ specifically for multi-entity businesses like yourselves. Just some quick advantages that we've had feedback on from our clients. So we've a very good user experience. Not only do you get more tools, more automation features, better analysis from moving some of these other products, you're also getting a very knowledgeable team to support you, not just through the implementation, but ongoing support in terms of actual support, account management, and then we're always open to our clients getting involved in our product development team, so helping out with future product ideas and that we can bring into the system. We're very scalable. If you're bidding on a new SPV that you want to set up, we can add an SPV using one of your other ones as a template in about 2 minutes and add it to a consolidation group just as quick. So really, really quick setting up, that there's no time delay in that. And that's something our users can do themselves. You don't even need our support to do that. You have your multi-dimensional group-wide reporting that I've mentioned. Obviously, it sits at a GL level first, but you could drill down using the analysis coding and do the reporting that you want at a granular level, entity by entity, or at a group level. We do have in-product reporting with standardized reports and that, but we also have a no data link from our databases to the likes of Excel or Power BI, where you can create your own dashboards, your own report packs and that, and they're linked to the databases permanently. So they're a great way of reducing noise for finance teams, in that you can build a dashboard for a particular project manager who's looking after 3 sites, say, and they just need to open those files that you have, refresh them, and they have the latest data from the databases. So they're not going back to the finance team looking for a refresh on the reports constantly. And then just what you'd expect from a modern finance system. So we bring a lot of clarity, a lot of automation to the finance function. With full drill downs, we've workflow, we have an expense app within the system, so all your staff that are out on the road can use it to claim expenses and get approval from their line managers before flowing through to the finance team. We have document storage, so you can have copies of all your purchase invoices, etc., stored in the system, which is great come audit time. And that we have a fixed asset register, we've intercompany transactions that can take place, and we have consolidation as well. On the consolidation piece, it's a very simple flow. You might have your main trading companies with a couple of SPVs hanging off that. Obviously, you might have intercompany recharges. You might have an insurance invoice coming into the main company that needs to be spread and recharged across a certain number of SPVs. And then once you've completed your month-end process in your trading companies, we can then consolidate up to a consolidation level. And those bring up, as I said, the GL, they bring up the analysis coding. We can eliminate intercompany transactions from the console, and we can revalue if any of these happen to be sitting in a foreign currency, or there's a group of them sitting in a foreign currency, they can all be revalued back to a base currency for consolidation reasons. The implementation process is a question that comes up again and again when we're talking to potential new clients. There's a lot of nervousness around it. It does take up a lot of bandwidth for finance teams who are trying to continue with their day-to-day finance function, but also implement a new finance system. And you can see that there's kind of 5 stages for the implementation process onto AIQ. Step 1 is designing your chart of accounts and your analysis BI code structure and getting your users set up on the system. Step 2 then is looking to build out your actual environments, putting some test data in, starting to look at your reporting setup and that. And then we're adding your creditors, your debtors, connecting your banks with our automatic bank feeds in product. And then we're at go live. So 1st of October, you're ready to start transacting in the system. You're up and running. And then through that first month, when you've closed out in your prior finance system, we'll start to bring over your opening debtor, creditors positions, your unreconciled bank transactions, although that's starting to become a bit of a thing of the past now with online banking, etc. And then when you're ready, we bring over an opening trial balance. We can wind that trial balance back 6, 12, 18, 24 months if required, and bring in monthly movements. So you have some sort of historical piece to report against within the platform. And those trial balances and opening TBs, they can all be brought in at an analysis code level. So if you have an ongoing project, we can help you break down those figures so you can report from day one in AIQ at that project level, and also with uploading your budgets, etc., at that level as well. After the go live, there's a certain amount of hand-holding that goes on. So with your assigned implementer, they stay with you for a number of weeks post go live. They're there to answer all the little questions. Is there a better way of processing a transaction? This is how we did it in our old system. How should I handle it in the new system? And all those just little concerns that do rise in the first couple of weeks. But you do get through it very quickly and very smoothly on the whole. And then after that, then we complete the project and we hand you over to our support team, who put you on a very much a high priority list for the first couple of months. So to make sure you get that ongoing care while you learn the new system and your team embed fully with it. Just some of our current clients that we have on the platform at the moment. There will be a copy of this slide deck, and the copy of the recording will be sent out to everyone who signed up for this webinar afterwards. So you will get that emailed out to you in the next 24 hours or so, I've been told. Just a couple on slides here on one of our recent clients, Wa R.E, an energy company. You can see a little bit about them there. Pain points: they were on stage 50. It was found it too limiting for their rapid growth. It was obviously on premise, which has had its issues over the last couple of years with COVID and working remotely, etc. And they were looking for things like intercompany transactions, better analysis of how their business was performing. We integrated them with iComplete to help them on their AP side. That's one of our integration partners that we work with, and that's another plus with Accounts IQ. We have a number of predefined integrations with the likes of iComplete and that, but we also have our own in-house integrations team who don't like to say no to any integration that clients throw at them, and we 99% of the time find a way of making those integrations work fairly well. So some of the benefits that Wa R.E returned or reported back to us, and just general efficiency improvements by automating as much as possible. Their compliance is better. They're reduced human error by automation as much as possible, especially with that iComplete piece. They've really reduced this bit here. It's set up for easy expansion of the system, so new sites, new currencies, new finance team users, approvers, etc., can be added very, very quickly, all on the user side, with no input from us. Expenses can be captured, so there's no paper floating around anymore waiting for approvals or that on it. And they've got things like their VAT return. They do a group VAT return, so it's not on an entity by entity basis. They group it all together for VAT return to HMRC via MTD. And they've also got they're obviously their intercompany sales, their purchase ledger. It's all easy to track, and they've got real-time visibility of how they're performing as a company. Now I'm going to switch over and just show you the product itself very quickly. So when you log in to your Accounts IQ environment, you'll be presented with whatever entities you have set up. You might have full entities, you might have light entities. SPVs tend to end up as light entities. They're not very transaction heavy, but they'll all be listed here, and you'll see the base currencies of those various entities as you require them. This particular example on the screen here just has one consolidation layer. So on a monthly basis, these three entities, which base currencies of euros, GBP, and US dollars, are being translated and consolidated together into a GBP currency. So you can get that group-wide view. I'm going to go ahead and just log into the GBP entity here. And I just want to bring your attention to a couple of items in here very quickly. You have your usual menus and that, and depending on what menu you're in, you have different, obviously, sub-menus that appear. But very quickly, just running across here now, we have a couple of predefined dashboards in product that you can see there. On the banking module, as I said before, we can connect to most UK bank accounts, Irish bank accounts, and some of the international ones as well through our banking partner, Plaid. Transactions come in. Initially, everything is obviously red because it's never seen it before, but as you start to transact in the system, you'll see the system starting to suggest postings and then fully recognizing and reconciling getting tongue-tied now, reconciling those transactions that it knows exactly what to do with for you. On the sales side of things, obviously very simple. Most renewable energy companies that we see invoicing on the sales side is quite standard. So you have your standard invoices templates set up, you're sending out an invoice once a month, etc. on it. The purchase side of it tends to be a little bit more detailed, in that you can have purchase orders raised in the system. They can be sent for approval. You can see that there's a long list of them there waiting for approval. There has been a couple that have been approved by whoever the designated approver is within the company. And when those POs come through to item invoices, again, you can see that approval status on them within the system. Where the little paper clips are, you can actually see that a couple of them have what looks like sheets of paper behind them. That means there's actually copies of those POs or invoices attached there in the background. And anywhere where there's notes, you can see that there's been approval notes added there. So that the last line of that is just saying approved. This one here has been rejected. Obviously, one of my colleagues decided to do this at lunchtime, writing too much cake on it there. So that can all be done within the system very easily. We do have an AP inbox within the system, and that allows you to actually email the invoices directly into the system. So you don't have to manually attach them. You can actually just email them in and handle them there with workflow approval being applied as well. We have batch payments, so come the end of a period or a week, depending when you do your payment runs, we can create a batch payment run. So the system will tell you what invoices are due for payment. You can pay them, part pay them, fully pay them. It'll send those remittances with the breakdown of what you're paying to your suppliers. It'll obviously clear down those transactions on the supplier account, and it'll give you a bank file then that you can simply upload to your bank account and approve it there as you would normally with any transaction, but you just don't have to recreate those actual payments in the bank. It's just a simple file upload. On the general ledger, just to give you a very quick look at this, we have a three-tiered chart of accounts. So you have a category, subcategory, and then you're down to your GL codes. And what we can do then with our analysis coding that I've touched upon already, I can start breaking that down by locations, and you can see how the numbers are very quickly filtered using that analysis coding that's based on the background. So just to go a little bit further on the analysis coding, you can see here, we've up to 6 dimensions that we can use. What you name them is completely up to yourself, and the number of elements that are in there is up to you as well. We have some of our clients have thousands of elements in them. You can retire elements. So when a project maybe is finished out, or you sell off a project, you can retire it. So it can't be, future transactions can be recorded against it, but you can always go back and historically report on it because it's held in the background in the system. Obviously, fixed assets are an important one in the renewable energy world. So you can add in create your fixed asset classes, apply the correct depreciation method, annual percentage depreciation rate, add in your fixed assets into the system, and then as a month-end process, you just post your depreciations and the system will run those depreciations in the background for you, posting all the correct journals with a full reporting pack that goes with that as well. There is, and I won't get into it now, but there's approvers and employees. There's an approver set up. There's an employee expense app for claiming expenses through the system and that. On this general tab here, we're fully MTD VAT compliant in the UK and Ireland. We have all the VAT reports, etc. as well. From a time saving perspective, you can see we have numerous journal types that can be set up, and on a very simple level, we can set up a journal to auto reverse at the start of the next period, or we can run an accrual, a prepayment, and set it to run every month, every 2, 3, 4, 6 months, whatever it is you need. But the key piece being that once it's set up to run, it just runs every month. You don't need to do anything. So once it runs over the calendar month, the journal will run as long as for the period of time you've set it to run for. We have budgets in the system. The system holds 2 budgets. Most people would load up a budget at the start of the financial year or at the start of a new project, and they can obviously report against that budget. That can be done at the analysis code level as well. And you might then upload month on month a revised budget, depending on the prior month's results. So you, at any time, you can look at your budget for a month, your revised budget for the month, the actual for the month, and you could also report against any historical periods that are in the system as well. There's 2 other flags just to bring your attention to the top right here for a sec. We do reoccurring sales invoices. So if you have a regular invoice that goes out, you could set it up as reoccurring, and each month, or as the calendar month rolls over, you'll get a little flag here saying there's one invoice that needs to be posted this month. You can go in and just edit any of the values on that and then post it off using it as a template. There is the ability to send intercompany transactions in the system, and then the receiving company will receive them in, and they can obviously update some of the detail on those transactions, so it's recorded correctly in the receiving company. Reporting, just be the next section here. We obviously have a number of standard reports within the system. There's about 200 odd of them. Within there, there's numerous variables that you can report against within them, and the reports all print to screen, as you can see there. They're all exportable under numerous types. Just to note that when you do export them, they hold the formatting. So it's not like you export to Excel and get a CSV dump. It'll actually hold the formatting, so you can safely send them on to colleagues without worry about them not being able to read the information. You can drill down into the reports depending on the variables that you've selected around analysis code on this particular P&L report. And you can see the breakdown there of all those codes that have been recorded for this particular period on the report. Leaving that single entity behind and going up to the consolidation layer, you will see that when we log in here now, you're going to have a lot less transactional modules available to you, because it's a reporting layer. You do have the ability to do some post-consolidation journals, so there might be some share movements that you want to journal once you've consoled. But if we just quickly go into the GL Explorer screen here again, and I'm just going to expand all these out. As before, we have our category, our subcategory, our GL code. But what we're also getting now is I'm getting the breakdown of out of the three entities that's making up these values. So this particular demo data set here, I'm looking at an overall value of 2.7 million, and you can see that the actuals are breaking down across US, Euro, and GBP companies there in the background. So that is, I'd appreciate that's a very, very quick run through. We're coming to the end of our half-hour time. There is an email address there if anyone has any questions. I know, just looking through some of the names there, I have actually spoken to some of you or some of your colleagues this week, and I do have contact details and that, so I'll reach out over the coming days to anyone I haven't spoken to yet. But likewise, in the meantime, if you want to organise a more in-depth demo, please feel free, or contact myself at sales@accountsiq.com, and I'll come back to you as soon as I can. We can set up an hour slot or whatever. Thanks for your time today. I appreciate it wasn't long, but I hope you've found it somewhat informative, and hopefully we'll get to talk soon. Thanks, take care, and goodbye.